Wide receivers. We broke down the running backs already. Top 20 running backs walking into 2025. Go watch that video if you missed it. Now we're breaking down the WRs. Who are my top 20 wide receivers? You're probably not going to agree with all of them. Not everybody likes what I say, and that's okay because we do it differently. We do it live. File on in. This is a live edition. Q&A, phone calls after. Top 20 wide receiver ranking show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the Fantasy...
Actually, no breaking news today. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back at the poker board. We're going to rank the top 25 wide receivers, and we're going to do it like we normally do it. There's going to be a little bit of a guesstimation, injury, concern, risk included, all that. So let's jump right into it. Ja'Marr Chase, number 1 overall. There's no debate here. Guy's a Triple Crown winner from 2024. What are you going to do? You're going to sit here and project that he's going to, drop footballs in 2025? Is he going to potentially get less work? Is the re-signing of T. Higgins not good enough for you to keep defenses honest? There's no debate here. You got the 1.1 in any format. That's PPR, half PPR, doesn't matter. You're taking Ja'Marr Chase number 1. Mainly because you have no other opportunity to take him number 1 anyway, or take him anyway. You have to take him number 1. You got to take him where you can get him. Best ball, he's the clear-cut number 1 overall player. Could I go RB like Bijan or Gibbs? The answer is yes. It depends on if your league is very running back heavy. If I'm sitting there at the 1, I would strongly, especially if it's non-PPR, but who plays non-PPR? Your grandma? So if it's half PPR, I'm still taking Chase. But would I consider Bijan or Gibbs? I would consider it. I would definitely take Bijan or Gibbs at 2 or 3 if I'm in a running back heavy environment. But Ja'Marr Chase is by far and away the number 1 overall player in most all formats. So he's clearly the number 1 wide receiver. Where it gets tricky is this number 2, 3, 4 spot. It gets even trickier at 5, 6, 7. But for me, I'm going to go, let's move these cards around. There he is. Lamb Chops, baby, is going to be my number 2 wide receiver this year. My dark horse number 1. If I'm drafting at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 overall, and I'm kind of excited that I get to take Lamb Chops because I kind of want to say he could be the number 1 wide receiver. I'm drafting Chase. I'm ranking Chase. There's a big difference in expecting something to happen and being more hopeful of a dark horse monster like CeeDee Lamb. Lamb Chops is where's my get lambed?
Get lamb.
There's my get lambed. Lamb Chops to me is the kind of guy that can rotate with Ja'Marr Chase any given year, be the number 1 overall wide receiver, be the number 1 overall fantasy football scorer outside of quarterbacks. This is a guy that could grab 14, 15 touchdowns. They bring in George Pickens. Dak Prescott's going to be on fire in 2025. Dak Prescott is going to be on fire.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Lamb Chops, Dallas Cowboys. They're doing it live. I'm here for it.
Now Dak attack. Now Dak attack. Lamb. Pickens. Lamb. Pickens. Dak attack.
Drop that triangle emoji.
Dak attack.
Drop it.
Dak attack.
If you're triangle emoji 2025, drop it. Do it live. So Lamb Chops clear number 2 for me. Clear. I mean, JJ's got McCarthy. Lamb's got Dak. JJ, I'm not saying McCarthy can't be solid. I'm not saying he can't, but Dak is going to explode. Dak is going to be a top 6 quarterback, probably top 6, something like that. Pickens is the perfect fit. When you look at the heat map of receptions and where targets are acquired via Pickens and where they're caught via Lamb, they're completely opposite. If this is the map right here, this entire my entire screen, Pickens catches everything along the outsides. It's literally dots everywhere, all over the place. And Lamb Chops' receptions are all in the middle of the field. It's like a puzzle piece fitting together. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Both are red flags. Come on, Maximum. CeeDee Lamb is one of the safest players in fantasy. What are you talking about? Dak is a surefire quarterback that maybe he's not a guy you're expecting to take you to the Super Bowl or you're going to win a championship game, but this is fantasy football, and Dak can air it out. Dak can be a 4,800, 5,000-yard passer. Dak can throw for 38 to 40 touchdown passes. He's one of the safest things there are. Okay, let's scroll on over to this deck of cards here and see who we're going to put number. You know, I'm put JJ here, but very tempted to go with a couple of their names that we'll get to in a second. Pickens will interfere. No, he won't, my boy. Pickens is gonna be beautiful. The defenses won't know what hit them. Defenses won't be able to key on Lamb Chops. Pickens will definitely consume, but keep in mind, a lot of people think he's just gonna come in and grab CeeDee Lamb's targets. Keep in mind that the wide receiver that Pickens is taking the place of, those targets go to Pickens. Obviously, there might be some more that get consumed, but it doesn't all come from Lamb Chops. Lamb Chops is going to explode. JJ, as much as I want to put a player... This is what I'm torn on. I'm going JJ. But my next player, number 4, I'm very tempted to put here. But JJ is quarterback proof. We know that, but the only problem is we have no idea what McCarthy's going to look like volume-wise. We have no idea if they're going to scale him back or they're going to try to run more this year. It's hard to envision what McCarthy's stats will look like. Is this going to be a watered down... Is this going to be Herbert in LAC? We're expecting this 4,000-yard passer, and we're getting something along the lines of a low 3,000-yard passer. Now, JJ's not the only show in town. You got Addison, you got Hawkinson, so there are a lot of mouths to feed. You got Naylor, you got a lot of other players that are going to consume targets. So it's not like we're saying like a Garrett Wilson land over in New York, where Garrett Wilson's the only show in town. So he's going to, even if the passing attack is a lot lesser, he's getting, 80% of it. JJ is QB proof. However, we've seen it before. There are quarterbacks that target certain players, and we just don't know how this is going to look. That's why he has to be 3. He's proven he's QB proof, but we've never seen him play with McCarthy. A wide receiver can only do what a wide receiver can do. The quarterback can definitely be a hindrance. There could be some sort of, no touchdown season for JJ. This could be one of those seasons where JJ has 5 touchdowns, but he has a ton of yards, ton of catches. But we don't know if McCarthy's going to gunsling and throw touchdowns. We have no idea. We can say JJ's QB proof, but we can't say we know what JJ's going to do touchdown production-wise. So I'm going to put JJ here. It's just I can't move him 2 or 3. I can't. And part of me wants to put Neighbors 3 and JJ 4. I might do it by the end of this show. Neighbors, to me, is also walking into, unfortunately, a rotation or a quarterback dilemma, a quarterback enigma. And we don't know what is in store for him for how long. How long is he playing with Russ? How long is he going to be playing with whoever steps in next? Will Dart get in there sooner than later? We don't even know. Hopefully Dart wins the job. Probably won't, but it's something that it's going to be up and down. It's going to be catching a football from a different quarterback that changes the game, changes your likelihood of touchdowns. might increase your likelihood of touchdowns, might give you less receptions, more hospital balls, more injury risk, less injury risk. We don't know how it's all going to go down. If Russ is out there slinging it, there's more risk of injury. These are hospital balls. These moon balls everybody talks about are hospital balls. They're not good footballs. They're hospital balls. So JJ and Neighbors are as QB proof as wide receivers can get, though. So that's why these two don't fall outside the top 4 or 5. That's why Neighbors can still be a top 3, 2, even number 1 overall wide receiver in this kind of environment. The good thing about the New York situation is that no matter what, Neighbors is going to have a QB that's at least competent in throwing the football down the field. Do they make all the right decisions? Are they hospital balls? Those are a different conversation. But Neighbors at least has 3 options. If one's not working, they'll switch it out. If another's not working, they'll switch it out. Eventually, he's getting the football, or at some point, if there's a problem, he's going to get that problem corrected. And Winston's, unbelievable for him. I worry more about McCarthy than I do about Neighbors. And I know a lot of people want to be on the McCarthy train, but you have zero evidence that McCarthy can ball at the NFL level. 0. He was a system guy at Michigan. He didn't have to do a lot, but he didn't do a lot. So you have nothing to extrapolate. You have nothing to look at. So McCarthy, to me, while he could be good, I have no evidence. I have no tangible evidence at all that McCarthy is going to ball. I wish these two, JJ and Neighbors, had elite quarterbacks. I wish JJ had Herbert throwing him the ball. I wish that Herbert could get traded to the Minnesota Vikings and you could send JJ McCarthy over to his college coach, Harbaugh, and say, Harbaugh, here's your boy. Here's your boy. You think he's the best quarterback ever? Here, you take him. Limit him. Put a governor on his capabilities. Put a limiter on his yardage because we're watching Herbert get limited. Herbert's a 5,000-yard passer. He's throwing for 3,600, 3,500. He's getting limited over in LAC. So I'd love to see this switch, but until then, it's crazy. What would Neighbors do with Joe Burrow? What would Justin Jefferson do with Joe Burrow? What would Neighbors do with Dak Prescott? What would JJ do with Dak Prescott? So Lamb and Chase are in unbelievable situations, and they're unbelievable wide receivers. You could almost say not a tier break of any kind, but like a security blanket that Chase and Lamb are wrapped in because they've got offenses that are explosive, aerial attacks, and quarterbacks that can gunsling, proven gunslinging quarterbacks. And I see a couple of your comments, Dak's not a top 6 quarterback. Dak has been a top 6 quarterback. So you're doing this, just chirping and running your mouth. Dak can't be a top 6 quarterback, Smitty. There's no way Dak can be a top 6 quarterback. He's been a top 6 quarterback. Are you out of your mind? No one's saying he's an elite quarterback. No one's saying he's a NFL top 6 quarterback. This is the fantasy football show. This is the fantasy football show. Dak has been a proven top 6 quarterback. He can absolutely gunsling. It's wild to me that if any of you, I don't even know, I've seen a couple comments, but if you think Dak Prescott isn't a phenomenal fantasy football quarterback for your wide receiver, you're doing this. Or your fandom is so deep that you can't even see straight, and you're talking about NFL right now because you don't know how to separate the two. Dak is unbelievable for CeeDee Lamb. Wild to me. Wild to me. Okay. Here we go. So Neighbors, JJ. This is getting tough here. This is where you separate the men from the boys and you make bold statements potentially. It's hard not to, in a redraft sense, put Puka here. And just so you guys know, I'm not a huge long-term Puka Nacua guy. I'm just not. Let me see where Puka is. I think I got him on here. Reason being is Puka puts his body at risk. Nacua is one of the most likely to get injured players in the National Football League over the long term. There he is. But I think in a redraft sense, you can't argue this. You can't. I mean, you can have a couple other players in the mix for sure. I'm just looking around here at these cards. We're not putting any of these guys over Puka, except for London's a thought in a few minutes. AJB we're going to look at in a little bit. JSN's over here. St. Brown definitely in the mix. BT is the only player I'm contemplating here, but you do have Travis Hunter there now in Jacksonville, so it's kind of tough to put anybody but Puka here. Again, dynasty wise, I have my concerns. He plays more aggressive than any receiver in the National Football League. He's going to put his body at risk in ways that other wide receivers won't, and he's going to do it every single week. So at some point he's going to get banged up. At some point he's going to miss time. So I like him. I like him here in redraft. I don't like him here in dynasty. We'll have a whole nother dynasty ranking show where you're going to see me drop him more than a couple spots, and it's going to ruffle people's feathers and rub people the wrong way. And that's okay. I'm not here to coddle people. I'm not here to babysit. I'm not here to try and make everyone happy. I'm here to tell you what I believe to be the case. And if you don't like it, doesn't matter. I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't. I do and I don't. I do and I don't. I care about you. I care about my OGs. I care about my loyal followers. But if you're a rampant Robbie in the chat, a upset Unger, a chatty Charlie, and you're just like, I can't believe you've got a JJ number 3 instead of 2. I don't care. I really don't care. Tell it to somebody else. St. Brown's in for touchdown regression. This Detroit situation is not going to be the exact same as it was without Ben Johnson in the situations, everything going on in Detroit. It's all a little jostled around. There's going to be some regression in the passing game. It's going to be lean heavy on the run. If the passing stats aren't there, sum total at the end of the year, don't be surprised. I'm not saying they won't be good. I'm not saying St. Brown's not a top 7-8 wide receiver. I'm merely telling you regression's probably in order. And these people that have JMO as a top 8 wide receiver, top 6 wide receiver this year, you're going to be sorely mistaken, because Goff is going to turn slightly back into the version he used to be, where everybody laughed at him. They're like, Goff's a bad quarterback. Now Goff's been great because Ben Johnson's been there. I'm going to go BTJ here, even with Hunter in town. I love BTJ. BTJ, do it live. Hide your moms, hide your grandmas, hide your girlfriends.
He's BTJ. What you gonna do? He's BTJ. He's gonna put it on you. He's BTJ. Gonna have a good game. He's BTJ. Your mama screams his name. BTJ is going to put it on you. There's not a single thing that you can do. BTJ is going to put it on you. There's not a single thing that you can do.
I saw, Signasty said St. Brown, the craziest thing you've seen all day was St. Brown isn't it. I didn't say that. I think somebody might have wrote that. St. Brown's definitely amazing, but regression in the cards. Okay, so we've got St. Brown, Nico, London, Garrett Wilson. This is tough, man. I think it's safe to do this. It's safe to go St. Brown, London. I think that's a safe maneuver. But if you have London, and I might have London over St. Brown, like quietly, that's fine. If anybody thinks that's crazy, they can go kick rocks. Who cares? Who cares what someone says? Who cares what somebody in the chat says? Chatty Charlie, it says something about, how do you have Puka 5 instead of 4? How do you have Neighbors at 4 instead of 6? Or, I like Neighbors better than Lamb. Well, good. We kind of do too. I just said that. Oh, how are you going to put JJ 3 instead of 1? Hey, Smitty, I can't believe you're sleeping on Ladd McConkey inside the top 5. There's going to be, no one's going to be happy. No one's going to be happy. You could literally mess around with this all day. I could put London here if I wanted. I could feel really good about it. I could put London here. I'd feel okay about London being number 5, but we're going to rank him here for safety. I'd be okay with St. Brown at this 5-6 territory. But like I said, there's a little bit of regression expectation. BTJ's got a lot of upside. He's a monster. But yeah, you got Hunter there. Puka Nacua injury prone. Quarterback concerns and neighbors. JJ QB concerns. The only 2 solid locked-in players without any sort of question marks. Their situations have gotten better in every category is Jamar Chase and Lamb. Nothing got taken away from them. Only things have been added. Or defensive situations. We'll see how it all plays out for the Bengals. But even if they struggle on defense, they're throwing the ball a lot. It doesn't matter. Chase's situation has not got worse at all. Lamb chops, it's gotten better. Pickens is great for Lamb. So this is looking really good. Anybody has a problem with this? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And you could have Nico anywhere in this territory. Nico could be here. Nico could be here. Nico here. But I think this is where I probably put him. That's very solid. Nobody can say London can't be ahead of Nico or Nico can't be ahead of London. If you're saying that right now in the chat, stop it. London could go easily 2-3 spots ahead. St. Brown could easily go behind or before Nico. Some of this is about the fact that I believe that the Texans are going to have a very disappointing season. They've got one of the worst offensive lines in the league. The question marks around that offensive line are very concerning. Mixon dropped off at the end of the year. Who knows how they're going to be able to run the football, especially with the bad offensive line. And Stroud hasn't returned to form yet. So, I love Stroud. Good for you. Good for you. Where are we going from here? Give me the man that they call Garrett Wilson. Oh, Smitty, you're going to put Garrett Wilson above A.J. Brown? You're going to put Garrett Wilson above Lad McConkey? What's wrong with you, Smitty? I can't believe it. Guess what? Garrett Wilson's going to ball. Justin Fields turned DJ Moore into a top 5 wide receiver the year he was handed DJ Moore, and his team was pathetic and awful. Guess what he's going to do now? Turn Garrett Wilson into a top 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wide receiver. Do it live. Garrett Wilson's going to the moon. Fields is going to the moon. Breece Hall's going to the moon. The Jets are going to be very impressive. I don't know how far they get. It's a tough division. It's a tough conference. It's hard to fully know what happens in year number 1, but I'm excited about it. And guess what? For those of you thinking, oh, Justin Fields, he doesn't turn to Pickens. He turned DJ Moore into top 5 wide receiver, and guess what? He played college football with Garrett Wilson. For people that don't know, the rapport is there. They played football together in college. This is a reuniting of 2 monsters. Garrett Wilson's going to go crazy. He's going to go crazy. In fact, this feels disrespectful. I feel like Garrett Wilson needs to be on line 1. I'm sorry, Garrett. I couldn't fit you in. We've got... I'm just taking a look at some... Let me look at some ADP, just make sure. The ADP rankings read as the following. Chase, JJ, CeeDee Lamb, Puka, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Nico, BTJ, Drake London. They have AJB, Ladd, Higgins, Garrett Wilson. I don't know where to go from here, but to say, I mean, it's hard not to put AJB here. Do I draft other players around this territory like Bucky or take another, shot at something? I definitely find Garrett Wilson available more often than AJ Brown. So I'm drafting Garrett Wilson over AJ Brown. I'm drafting London over AJ Brown. But if I got to this point, this feels pretty solid. I worry about his knees. He's certainly someone I avoid a lot more than I think people realize. And so I'm putting that out there. This is a caveat attached to this ranking. It's smart to put him here. If you drafted him here, you certainly could trade him at this value pretty easily. But this is a tough spot to be in right here. where you're trying to debate players like Ladd and Higgins. Even Devontae Adams could ball out this year to the point where we should be ranking him. Mike Evans, does he have a year left? Is this Marvin Harrison Jr.'s year? Is T. Higgins is the second option on his team worthy of being ranked this high? He is, but are we going to do it? Hunter, same thing. Ladd McConkey.
Well, I'm your huckleberry.
This is so tough. I don't trust Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh can win. I think Harbaugh is good at what he does, but do I trust Harbaugh? Do I trust Harbaugh to completely unlock this situation the right way? I mean, Ladd was really good last year. Garrett Wilson over Brown, question mark. Yes, Scott, it's on the board, Scott. I don't understand what you're asking. It's on the board, Scott. It's right here, Scott. I think this is going to be... Guys, what do you like here? Is it Adams? Is it Ladd? Is it Higgins? Is it Evans? Is it Marvin Harrison Jr.? Hit me with it. Hit me with it. I got a Ladd. I got a MHJ and Ladd. I got an Adams throw up. I think you're using some fandom to speak that, my boy. I'd probably say I'm gonna go MHJ, then Ladd, who I don't draft because he just goes higher than this. He goes so high. I'd rather draft, other players. Adams, JSN, or JSN. Let's go JSN Adams, because Adams is the number 2 for his team. I'm definitely looking at that perspective. We've got Higgins and Evans. This is kind of like a grab bag tie. Travis Hunter. Certainly think Travis Hunter is deserving and worthy of this conversation. So this is kind of like a grab bag. So we got 1, 2, 3. Number 4. 5 is Puka. 6 is BTJ. 7 is St. Brown. 8 is London. Can't believe what I'm seeing. One of my players is out of rank. Smitty's crazy. How can anybody have a problem here? How can anybody have a problem? Because Ladd's here and not here? Which is a perspective. Because Jason's here, not here. Or Jason's here, not here. Or Adams is too high or too low. You can't really have an argument with this. It falls in line a lot with ADP. And there's some variance. Rashee Rice needs to also be in the mix here. So I'm kind of thinking, okay, so we got Chase 1, Lamb 2, JJ 3, Neighbors 4, Puka 5, BT 6, St. Brown 7, London 8, 9 Nico, 10 Garrett Wilson, 11 AJ Brown, 12 Marvin Harrison Jr., 13 Ladd, JSN 14, Adams 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So Hunter, Higgins, Evans, Rice, it's a grab bag. It really is. I could easily put Hunter right here tied with Adams. I could put Higgins tied with Adams. I could put Evans tied with Adams. I think Hunter's going to be the guy. I think everyone's going to just be completely. No Tyreek Hill. Are you new here, bro? Stevens? Are you new here? We got to throw somebody else in here. We've got to throw in McLaurin. We got to throw in to make it 20. We got to throw in McLaurin, Worthy, Debo, DK. Probably McLaurin. Okay, we'll do something like that. You can kind of see Rice, right? Now, as for this situation right here, let's call Adams, Hunter, Higgins, Evans, Rice, McLaurin kind of the grab bag, right? It's like a blender. You throw them in, blend it up. If I had to rank that 6-player group right there, I would say, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not saying I necessarily rank it this way.
Well, I'm your huckleberry.
I'd probably say safety. I'll do safety and a high risk, high reward rank. Safety wise, it would be Adams, McLaurin, Evans, Higgins, Hunter, Rice. If I'm going upside play, willing to risk the biscuit, I honestly could put Rice and Hunter above all of them. If we're talking about you're okay taking a big swing, and the downside if you miss is not going to be the greatest amount of points either. So if you want my out of the 6 on the end here, the grab bag, Adams, McLaurin, Hunter, Rice, Higgins, Evans. If you want the top 2, I would say Hunter and Rice give you the most ability to explode. Now, Evans could too, but his age, I do think he kind of drops off. Evans and Adams are risks. And McLaurin, he's got Debo in town. Rice has got a potential suspension. I don't think it happens this year. I think Rice gets suspended in 2026. I don't think it happens this year, just so you know. And I'm not worried about the injury. He looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to say Hunter, Rice if you want upside. Adams, Higgins, Evans, McLaurin in that range if you want safety. This is my top 20 wide receivers 2025 PPR. I mean, really PPR and half PPR doesn't really change. This is it. Dial into the show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
But Smitty, how could you have Lad McConkey 2 spots lower than I do? These rankings are horseshit, Smitty. Everybody's so wild. DK's deserving of this group too. So DK in the mix here, Debo in the mix here, Worthy in the mix here for this bottom 6 group. It's so tough. It's so close. Someone's gonna have a problem. Like, where's Hill? Where's Worthy? Where's DK? Where's Debo? I thought you liked Debo. Where's I don't know. It's what this tells me is this is a pretty damn good wide receiver, season we're gonna have here. This is fantastic. All those guys I just mentioned. Do I like Rome Odunze? Not more than Luther Burden, but Rome got screwed with the situation. Rome got absolutely royally screwed. Flowers is a total. I told everyone about Flowers last year. Don't waste your time. DJ Moore, you could put him after all these guys. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to put him before. So let me open up the phone line speaker. Get that going. Yeah. The toughest ones for me moving around, honestly, were slotting BTJ, London, St. Brown, and Puka, and Nico. That was probably the toughest part of this whole thing. I don't even feel like I'm wavering on this last 6. It's just they're that close. I mean, I think it's almost idiotic to start arguing that Higgins should be above Adams or you're crazy, or Adams should be above Higgins or you're crazy, or McLaurin should be above all 6 of these or below all 6 of these. This is a preference thing. Lab McConkey at this spot right here versus being 2 spots up, it's almost moronic to argue that with a big group of people. It's preference. Could be very close. Could be within 5 or 10 points. So Worthy will disappear in a handful of games. Hard to say that for sure, Phil, because he didn't get going till the end of the year. In the final 5 straight games, bro, his final 5 games, he was the second wide receiver in the league if you extrapolate that data. So he 100% proved he's not someone that vanishes, though. So I don't know about that. Turn down the show in the background, bro. We got a lot of reverb there. What's your name and where you calling from?
From Iowa.
Holden? Who? Pam?
Yeah.
Pan or Pam? Pam or Pan?
Holden.
Holden, okay. Holden, what's up? What can I do for you?
So yesterday on my way back from like Kansas City, I had a really long drive. So I kind of just like ran through all your videos, like ones, and I listened to the one about the Fab. And I am in a huge rebuild of like my dynasty team, and I just don't think the guy would want to like trade a pick or anything for Najee. He's got Hampton. That's something I should maybe pursue is like Najee for some Fab, and like how much would I?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you basically are giving him Najee, or you're wanting Najee? Okay, you're giving him Najee.
No. Yep.
You know, honestly, like, let me ask you a question. Yeah, hit that thumb up button on the way in the door, guys. Has there been a player like Bucky or Puka or Achan pretty much every year in the last 5, 6, 7 years? The answer is, I'll answer for you, yes. So, honestly, like, let's say, is it 100 Fab or 500?
I have 100 Fab each year. We've already got it recycled.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get all 100 of his Fab, I would not do it for any less than that. If you could get all 100 of his Fab and you're okay at RB, it's intriguing, bro, because you literally could bid $101 if no one else has an extra $1 of Fab, and you know everyone. You can check everybody, make sure you know what they have so you don't overbid, and you just drop 100. But here's the trick that I would do, and I may have talked about this on the video, I may not have. But all you got to do is do one more additional trade for $2 of Fab. I mean, try and get more than $2, but it's easier to do it in a trade. So if you're doing a trade with someone and you just request an extra $5 or $10 or $20 in Fab, they'll just do it. They're not going to nitpick over that. That gives you the ability to drop 2 $101 Fab drops, bro. 201. Two separate 101 Fab drops. So that because you could say, what if I get it wrong? What if I don't get Bucky? What if I grab the wrong guy? Well, now you give yourself 2 shots at it, 2 cracks at it, and maybe both of the players are in week 1. Remember Puka, Kyron, you know, those guys were both available. And what if you grabbed both of them? What if you have $202 in Fab, and in week 1 you do full load drops on 2 players like that, and you landed both of them? You can turn a franchise around like that with Fab. Najee, I don't really care about Najee. As long as you're okay at RB, I would rather probably have the shot at getting the top pickup of the year.
About that RB idea. I kind of went into full rebuild. This is like a no money league. It's kind of like a friend's family, but like everyone's pretty serious. I ended up kind of trading away most of the entire second round for next year. And I didn't know what about that.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't change anything. But like, give me the Fab for Najee. But no money, bro. No money league. If I ever do a no money league for whatever reason, like it's for charity or whatever, and I do that in the industry a lot, I always find somebody in the league that's talking a bunch of shiat, and I say, $100, my team outscores yours, and they're like, done. And then you're playing for something. So find an easy target in your league, start talking trash about their roster, and they'll accept a 100 1v1. You know, who scores more points at week 17's end. Turn it into a money league. Just like that. Turn it just like that. You can turn any non-money league into a money league by just calling someone yellow. You say, what are you, yellow? What are you, scared, Marty McFly? And they'll accept your challenge. But yeah, I don't know. No money league. I don't know. It's like a mock draft to me, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun. I just kind of have fun and see what kind of team I can create. That's kind of why we're doing this all second round thing. We'll see how that goes.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, later. Ron Navy, you're live.
What up, Smitty?
What's up?
Hey, with your rankings, I like your rankings, but are you worried with Amon-Ra at all?
I mean, that's why I have him. I mean, I spent like 4 minutes. I spent 3 or 4 minutes telling you why I'm worried.
Their guard, now they lost their all-pro center. He's retiring, and they're going to be starting a rookie center, which could affect Goff and could affect, the whole team.
I mean, didn't you hear me say how much I'm worried about him? I don't know if you were here, if you just jumped in. Oh yeah, I'm Goff is going to turn halfway into a pumpkin this year. And everyone that thinks Goff is this great quarterback, he's good because of Ben Johnson. Goff was mediocre for years, and Ben Johnson helped turn his fantasy football scoring around. So, to be honest with you, I told you by the end of the show, I probably could move London over St. Brown. I might even just do it right here. But I think keeping St. Brown and Nico at this like 8-9 is very important still. I think Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, it's all really close. I'd almost put a tier break between, if AJ Brown were to stay healthy, between AJ Brown and the rest. Marvin Harrison Jr., Ladd, and Jigba, Adams. I think there's a little drop off. Like, I could strongly look at AJ Brown, if he stayed healthy, and up as wide receiver ones. Elite wide receiver ones. London I like a little more than St. Brown. His situation's better. I'm very worried about Detroit. I've been screaming it all offseason. That the center, losing a center and all that is an added piece of fear. But this is a Ben Johnson problem that the Lions are going to have. They bring Morton in, they elevate Morton, who was in Denver last year, but he was on staff, so it's kind of almost an internal hire in a way. I don't know what Morton's going to do. Morton been involved in some good offenses and some good schemes, and he helped Knicks a little bit last year, obviously, but how much of it was Morton? Just because you're standing next to the guy that hits a home run in batting practice doesn't mean you're hitting home runs. Doesn't mean you're necessarily, even if you're a part of the crew that's helping him swing, you're not necessarily, if you're all by yourself, going to be replicating that with another player. So crazy to me. Only 58 thumbs up, says Sir Davos. Please hit that thumb up button. 58 thumbs up. We got 170, 180 in here. I'm very much worried about St. Brown. Not just because of Ben Johnson leaving and not knowing what's in store for Morton, not knowing what's in store for Goff, not knowing what's in store for all the mouths to feed. And I'm certainly more worried about J-Mo. I'm worried because of the touchdown regression that's naturally going to be there anyway. And I think they lean on the run a lot more than they did last year when they run into problems. So, yeah, I agree with you, Ron.
Okay. Yeah, because I just heard it today. He just retired today because of the injuries, especially toe and stuff. And that's a big. He's like one of the best in the league centers. How do you replace him? And they did draft a rookie, but rookie's not as strong as he is. He's a rookie.
Yeah, I'm going to leave London here. I'm going to leave London right. So for me, it goes. London could even outplay BT and Puka Nacua. Honestly, I wouldn't even be afraid to rank it like this at all. I could give two shits what someone might say. Man, he's crazy. I could easily do this. I'm going to put it here just because this feels, it's a good mix of safe and expectation. I don't want people drafting London too high anyway off that. So this feels really good. This feels like a really good ranking. No one here feels out of place to me. I'm looking at this. And I kind of left a grouping of 6 at the end, and I normally do that. Whenever I do a ranking, I don't like to do a hard cutoff because I hear nothing but complaints. Where's Higgins? Where's Evans? Where's Rice? Where's McLaurin? Where's Adams? Where's Hunter? I'm still hearing it. Where's DK? So I usually include like 5-6 people at the final thing of any ranking so that we can like at least say, here's a blender full of players. But I feel really good about it. I don't have any hesitations about this. If anybody feels like...
You see 4 on the bottom row already that could end up in the top row before it's all said and done with. You got Collins, Wilson, Marvin Jr., and you got the Jigba.
Yeah.
Those guys. And then you got Hunter kind of.
Hunter.
Like, dude,
Hunter. People think Hunter doesn't belong on this list. You're right. You're right. He probably belongs up a lot higher. Hunter could be so good. I can't wait for these people that are talking about him dropping a football like Jamar Chase dropped footballs. Remember that? Hunter, he fell down. Hunter, he didn't run a crispy route. Hunter looks so quick. For everybody that's running clips of Hunter not running the crispiest route on one session of doing something new where they're like planting your left, like you don't even know what they're telling him. Hey, Hunter, I know this is how you normally cut. I want you to plant on your, right leg where your knee is slightly behind your heel instead of over. It's going to help you not, get injured as much. And you don't even know what he's working on. That might be why he's not preoccupied with the ball and he makes some weird cut. Everybody just makes these stupid assumptions as if they know what's being told to these players while they're running a simple route. And for every clip of someone running a series of weird looking routes by Travis Hunter, there's other clips those people are not running where they have this tennis ball drill where him and BTJ have to race about 8 yards, 7 yards, grab the ball and run back. And Hunter's beating BTJ at it every single time. So I want to hear anything negative about Travis Hunter in reps and OTAs and practice. He's looked phenomenal in many ways just because you can find a clip of you don't even know what he's doing. It could literally be, hey, I want you to plant on your right foot 5 times in a row here. And he's struggling because he's used to planting on different. You don't know what they're telling him. You don't know. I've done that before where you're doing something in front of a group of people and you feel stupid because you're struggling with it, but you're trying to do a specific thing that a coach is teaching you. Or you're running track and they're like, keep your elbows in, and you're trying to work on that. You're not working on your speed. You're just working on your form. Look how slow he looks. People don't know what they're talking about. Hunter could be as good as anyone in this later part of row number 1. Could he be a top 8, 9, 10 wide receiver as a rookie? He could. Could he and BT rotate each year going forward? One is better than the other on a rotational basis? Absolutely. You think Hunter can outscore BT on occasion or during one season and they rotate? This is not Higgins and Jamar Chase. These are 2 monsters, not one very good player like Higgins with one elite player like Jamar Chase. These are both elite players. Even if they're slightly lesser elite than Jamar Chase, they're both elite players. And I can't wait to watch everybody just drool over the idea of trading for Hunter after the fact. You were right about Hunter, Smitty. He's been on the supernova list for God knows how long when people are doubting him, saying he wouldn't play wide receiver. He'd be drafted to be a cornerback. But way before the NFL draft, we threw him on the supernova list. Hold on, Ron. Let me play the supernova list.
To the moon.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football. They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8 supernovas. The hateful 8 supernovas. I'm looking at the 8 supernovas. The magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery.
There's going to be a lot of people, too, that say things like, and I've seen it in the chat. I'm not trying to roast anybody's comment on it, but I saw, where was it? I think it was right here. Let's see here. I just still think he plays more corner for that team than wide receiver this season. RCT, where are you? I mean, I don't even understand where you're getting that from. That seems like somebody that's in pre-draft mode, that the NFL draft hasn't occurred yet, and you've been hearing that from 5 different people. You didn't think of it yourself. You heard it from 5 different people, and you're regurgitating it. He is a wide receiver. He's 100% playing wide receiver. Full wide receiver, bro. Full wide receiver. That's already known. That's already been said. And when everybody was doubting drafting him off of that fear and saying, but I like him, you don't like him. You don't get to like him anymore. You say that Hunter's going to play cornerback more. I like him, but I'm worried about it. You don't get to draft him anymore and say you're a Hunter fan. You are on the non-Hunter train. The Hunter train has already left the station. There's no more room. But Cohen's already made it crystal clear he's a wide receiver, and he's going to play situational corner. The way that I think it's probably going to go down is he goes in when they need to lock someone down. It's third down, put him in situationally. He goes in, saves the day, and then hits the field again and plays offense. There's no doubt in my mind that Hunter's playing as much wide receiver as he wants. And not to mention, you're going to get paid a whole bunch more too. It's what he's going to want. They drafted him as a wide receiver. There's no, I don't even know what would make you think that, RC. I don't know what would even make you think. I just think they're going to play him more at corner than they are wide receiver. He hasn't played corner at all yet. He's just in meetings kind of barely absorbing the defensive side of the game. He's going to play both sides. He wants to play both sides. Cohen knows he wants to play both sides, and this team is going to be smart enough to deploy him at both sides. But he has been 100% receiver this entire time. What on earth would make you think he's going to be more cornerback? I don't understand that at all. We've got a $20 hauler from Brady coming in strong. Brady, appreciate you. Let me get these 3 supers out of the way real quick.
Alert. Super chat alert.
All right, this super chat from Brady is, who do you like Dynasty, Bucky or Hampton? Already have Chase and Lamar. So you got Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson. You want to know Bucky or Marion Hampton? I'm going Bucky. If Bucky were in the draft, the only player I would draft over him, the rookie draft, your rookie only draft, I would take Genty and then I'd take Bucky over all the other RBs. I'd contemplate Hendy and Harvey and Hampton a little bit just for a moment in time, but Bucky's the guy. Taking Bucky all day long. Love Bucky. All right, thank you for that $20 hauler. You're the man, the myth, the legend. Jonathan, with a super Harvey or Kenneth Walker in Dynasty? It's Harvey, and it's not even close, bro. And I love Walker, but until he gets traded to Washington, what are we doing? You know, we can't expect anything out of Walker for the long term. We just can't. I'd rather draft someone else, even though I love Walker and Charbonnet together. There's a lot of ways that I look at Charbs as a standalone grab. Grab him, hold him, hope for the best, and then you draft somebody else. Dynasty Superflex, say Ward, Dart, Harvey, Hunter, Scatterboo are all at the 1.11. Who would you take? Without a hesitation, I would take Harvey or Hunter. It's like Scatterboo I love, but he's not in the same class, bro. And Ward would be a consideration if you had no quarterbacks. But let me ask you this. If you have no quarterbacks, I can't imagine your team. Obviously, if you're holding your own pick, the 1.11, you had a good season. I assume you traded for that pick. But if you needed Ward that badly, your team's probably in a world of hurt anyway. I'm not taking Ward over Harvey or Hunter. I'm just not. I'll figure out a Mahomes trade, a Fields trade, a Dak Prescott trade, dotted quarterbacks. I'd rather have those guys and make sure I don't miss on the Harveys and Hunters. But Harvey and Hunter. Now, who do you take? It depends on your position of need because they're very, very close. Hunter probably because you're getting the long-term value, I suppose. But that's in a vacuum. I mean, I could go either way. I love Harvey. I love Hunter. I love Hendy. I like Hendy slightly more than Harvey for the long term. But if you have a now mentality, it's easy to like Harvey because the volume's going to be there from the jump. They're going to use him on third downs. He's an every down back. People run their mouth about his pass protection. Sean Payton's already discussed that and put all that to bed. So, but I do like Hendy a little bit more, and I'm starting to like Hendy more and more and more and more and more every single day. I just think Hendy, when we say Hendy might not be as now ready, like I'm talking like a couple weeks, I don't really even think that's the case. I think the fact that he's the best pass protecting back in the draft class, there's no reason they would keep him off the field. He might be top 5 in the National Football League from day one in terms of pass protection. From day one, Trey Henderson could be a top 5 running back in pass protection. You don't keep that player off the field when Drake May has to be protected. So at the end of the day, I think he's probably going to be on the field as much as Harvey. And if that was locked in and verbally stated, which it might be very soon, I could see myself having Hendy locked into the 1.2 overall. Locked in. No hesitation. Unless I'm dire need at wide receiver, I do think it's close enough that you can nudge it toward Hunter. But there's no doubt in my mind that Hunter and Harvey are the 2 best options for you. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, Ron, let me go back to Ron, and then let me circle around the phone line. Go ahead, Ron. Thank you for the super chats, guys.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to bring up is McLaurin could end up with one of his best years ever. Simply because Debo's there now. So McLaurin could shoot up there and go under the radar because not a lot of people, most people look at him like down where you put him.
Well, I agree. I agree that there's upside there, and I believe we were probably the highest on McLaurin of any channel you could find last year. The concern I would have with McLaurin would be he had an anomaly type touchdown season. However, if you said flip the script, where's my flip the script button? If anybody wants me to flip the script on any topic, you just need to put that recycle emoji. And if the chat goes crazy enough and there's like 10, recycle emojis all visual, I'll hit the recycle emoji, or I'll hit this, where is it? Let me see if I can find it. It's this button here. I have it here somewhere. Flip the script. Where is it? I got it here. Let me see if I can find it. Flip the script. Hold on, boys. I think I could find it. Here it is.
The script strikes again.
Oh, that's the flip. This, never mind. I'll find it. I have it here somewhere. I'll find it. I have it here somewhere. But basically, if you said, "Hey, Smitty, flip the script on that Scary Terry argument right now," my flip the script argument would be, okay, I think Scary Terry could have a better year. The reason he could have a better year is it's not that he had a touchdown anomaly type of year. He just never had the quarterback to get that. That's what he's normally capable of if he has JD5. He'll always get that kind of touchdown volume if he has a quarterback. He just has not had one yet. So you could argue that all day long on either side, of course. But I think Debo in town, Scary Terry probably has a little bit of a step backwards in touchdowns, but I still think he has a great year. But I think Debo is going to be very, very solid. But yeah, I mean, you could easily make that argument. Rice, Hunter, Adams, T. Higgins, JSN, Ladd, MHJ, one of those guys could slip into the top 8, of course. Evans, what if Evans has another remarkable year? I just think I'd rather jump early on Evans than jump late. Himothy says, plan on keeping Bucky and redraft next year. Plan on keeping Bucky. How are you keeping Bucky in redraft? You mean a keeper league? Who do you think would be the best running back alongside of him in PPR? I've been looking at Achane or Henry. Achane, I'm not, again, like Evans, like CMC, like Tyreek Hill. I'm avoiding Henry when I can get a very, very equal player that has less risk. It's not like I'm saying I wouldn't take Henry in this situation, that situation, every situation. But you give me Achane or Bucky over Henry, I'm taking it because they're much safer and they come with the same amount of upside. And at some point, I know we keep saying it, but at some point Henry will drop off, and I'd rather not be on that train when it happens and it derails. When I'm literally, if I'm wrong on Henry, I'm not wrong because I'm drafting Achane or Bucky, who I believe will score at least what Henry's doing anyway. So it's just one of those things where if I'm wrong, the person that took Henry and me can both be right at the same time. So when I'm wrong, we're both right. That's the way I'm looking at it. And if I'm right, then they're going to lose the league. Let's ask Miss Smitty. That's my logic around the house too. When I'm wrong, I'm not wrong. She's like, all right, Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up? I was just calling on the Hunter stuff. I think it's because the past few days they've been playing him at TV and the off-season workouts and stuff. I just find it funny because I'm not just signaling out the one guy who was talking about it. There's been a few people in the chat how for basically since before the draft right up until now there hasn't been a peep from anyone saying, oh, he's not playing offense, or oh, he's only going to play cornerback this year, or mostly cornerback this year, or he can't do it both ways. And then, like, the week they stick him on defense, which we all knew they were going to do in the offseason, they come back out of the woodwork and start saying it again. So
yeah.
I would kind of ignore that. He's going to play both ways. My guess, they've already said, you can look it up, they said we're going to use him mostly at wide receiver, but we want to play him on defense.
I know.
I guess is they're going to use him situationally.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Anybody's debating this right now. It's insane. It's insane. What he's going to do is he's going to come in and save the day on third down. He's going to come in and save the day when they need a lockdown situation. They're going to pin a team deep. They're going to have a horrible punt. The team's going to get the ball back at the 40-yard line because they punted badly. He locked it all down, and now Travis Hunter scores a touchdown. How many times do you think Travis Hunter is going to lock down something, force a punt, and then score on the next immediate play or have a big play? It's going to be amazing. How many times will he intercept the ball? It might not be a ton, but intercept the ball and then score a touchdown on that upcoming series. That would be unbelievable. You know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
At least once. This guy's going to be amazing in lockdown situations, but he's not even going to break a sweat. If anybody thinks that it's going to add a whole bunch of risk, he's going to play enough on defense to be super impactful, but he's not going to miss offensive plays. He's been doing this since college. Just because it tires out a couch potato watching that says, oh, he's not going to be able to play both sides of that, he's been doing it. I don't care if he's been doing it at a lesser level. His ability to be able to run around all game long is not going to be a problem. And he's going to play so situationally, he's not going to be adding that much crazy risk to the table into the situation. It's just insane to me. I love that people are doubting. It was beautiful all offseason. We were scooping them up in the 9th and 10th round in best ball drafts, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. I'll drop that link in the live chat. We'll draft tonight. So if you want to draft with us, make sure you're smashing this link right here. If we don't draft tonight, actually, we may or may not come back. We'll be back on the 8 p.m. show. But, the midnight draft, I'm not sure if we'll be doing the midnight draft. But if we do come back and draft at midnight, this is the link. Hit that link, and you'll be signed up and ready to go. But we were taking him in the 9th and 10th round, stealing him away for months and months and months, while the worried Williams and the careful Calebs were like, oh, but he's going to play defense. I'm so scared. I don't want to spend a high draft capital pick. I'll let somebody else take the risk. I'm so scared. I'm so scared, Smitty. Those people left him in the 9th and 10th round, and we cleaned up. Then he got drafted by Cohen in Jacksonville. Everybody loved him again. And now all of a sudden, everybody's scared again. Well, good. I hope you're really scared. I hope you're petrified. I hope the news of him playing DB in practice or learning stuff, from a positional drill expert, training a little bit, doing some footwork on the defensive side of the ball. I hope it scares you to piss. And I can't wait for him to drop. I can't wait.
Isn't it funny though how literally for like the past 6 weeks, those people have been radio silent about
cockroaches scattered
and being on defense.
Scattered like cockroaches.
Right away, the second he goes on defense, comes back.
Yeah, and they'll vanish again. They'll run away just as quickly as they scattered a few. But yeah, Hunter's going to be so good. I can't wait.
My only biggest worry is Lawrence. What Lawrence are we going to get?
Yeah, but can I ask you a question?
Owen can help him.
Yeah, let's be honest. Baker was a good prospect as well, but there's been no more bigger disappointment that we're still hanging on hope for than Trevor Lawrence coming out of college, who's such a prospect. So I'm hopeful that this is Baker Mayfield 2.0. It's got to be. Cohen revived him. We were all laughing at Baker. Everybody was. Come on. You know, even when he went to the Rams for that one small stint and had that nice game, everyone's like, he's one of those guys that, like, you put him in like Fitzpatrick, he might do something, but then you give him the reins and he'll just crumble and fall apart. It was easy to give up on Baker, and Liam Cohen brought him back from the dead. Trevor Lawrence has a lot of skill. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is Zach Wilson. I don't think he's even Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold was solid in Minnesota, and I think he's way better than both those guys. So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be okay. I do believe Liam Cohen made a mistake by not getting Shedeur. I think that would have been a very smart. It would have cast a big shadow and created maybe a little problem. But if Trevor Lawrence crumbled because of that, he's not the guy anyway. But not having Shedeur and pairing up Shedeur and Hunter in that scenario, I think it was a grave mistake when you're talking the third round, the fourth round. Like, it was just a free safety net for Trevor Lawrence, and you didn't take it. I think it was a big mistake. But we'll see. All right, boys. Anything else? I'm gonna probably run here, but I'll be back at 8 p.m. So about 2 hours.
No, I'm good.
All right, Ron. We'll see
See you, Smitty. See you, Rob.
See you, boys, in 2 hours.
Later, Smitty.
Later. See you, boys, in 2 hours. Everybody else, I'll see you in 2 hours. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Fantasy Football Wide Receiver Rankings for 2025. There they are again. Chase 1, Lamb 2, Jefferson 3, Neighbors 4, Puka Nacua 5, BTJ 6, London 7, St. Brown 8, Nico 9, Garrett Wilson 10, AJ Brown 11, Harrison 12, Ladd 13, Jackson Smith and Jigba 14, Adams, Hunter, Higgins, Evans, Rice, McLaurin, grab bag, situationally arguable, risk across the board for all of them in different ways. If I was going high upside, taking on risk, Rice and Hunter honestly are my favorite two of that entire group. If I'm going safety, T. Higgins and probably McLaurin and then Adams are your safer bets, but you know, it just kind of depends on what you're doing. I'll see you all at 8 p.m. Eastern. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, which means in 2 hours we go live again. We're live whenever big news breaks. We're additionally live most midnights Eastern. See you all at 8 p.m.